hold, please. Eric's shoe it is untied.
Much like my life. Welcome to Converse-ations today. Today, Katie is going to make me very flustered.
This individual.
Listen, let's start with this question. When, how long, why?
Was that a question or was that?
That's a broken tickle me Elmo is what that was. When is it appropriate to finally get rid of something
And replace it.
and replace it with something else, or just get rid of it, period?
I'm going to tell you the answer.
Well, hang on. Let's start with I don't want to hear the answer just yet. That's the answers for the end of the video.
Oh,
Let's talk about that show that's on Netflix that everyone's talking about.
Marie Kondo.
Okay, so we're going to touch on one of the things that she said, which is what you told me.
So she talks about that you keep an item if it sparks joy. If you look at that thing and you go, yeah, I like that item.
And that's just generally, you know, anything with like clothing or books, or mostly like for knick-knacky type stuff.
Well, but she was also saying that if you have something that's functional and it doesn't spark joy, you want to look at the reason that that doesn't spark joy for you, and you need to appreciate the things you have and the functions that they serve. But if you look at something and you're like, God, why do I have that? Then you don't need that. And also the idea that people get emotionally attached to belongings, and that you need to thank the belonging for the service that it did for you, recognizing the fact that it is to a certain extent, especially like clothing and things, they're like a part of you. They are an extension of you and your personality. And that's not just like, you need to have less stuff. It's like, you need to look at the things you have and decide whether or not you need those individual items.
So there are a couple things that I own that like I will never get rid of. My first 2 Thomas trains I'm going to keep forever because they are my first, and that's it. They look terrible, but here we are.
But you have an emotional connection to
Yes, and there's a reason why I still have them and everything. Now, there are some things, like clothing, that you should or should not get rid of, and it just depends. Let's talk a prime example, which is this pair of shoes. Not the ones I'm wearing.
It's not even just this particular pair of shoes that you're referencing, because you've done this to several pairs of shoes in the time that I've known you.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. This person will wear a pair of shoes past the point that they're falling apart. Not even just until they're falling apart, because I've done that. But you wear them until literally you are tripping and falling because the shoes are literally like betraying you. Like, you are betrayed by your own footwear. Now, I have worn shoes to the point where the traction was so far gone at the bottom, I slipped in a puddle and I went, it's time to get new shoes. And I've worn a pair of flip-flops until I like completely burst them apart.
Yeah.
But other than that, my mom hated those flip-flops. She absolutely hated them. They finally died. I think she might have thrown a party.
So, like, these are my pair of sneakers.
Okay, so they're black, so nobody can see.
Yeah, exactly. So they look fine.
Yeah,
exactly. See, they look fine. Sit down. Nobody wants to see your butt. Nobody wants to see your butt. Okay. See, look, they look perfectly fine. See, and this is, hang on. Shh. This is the thing, is that if they look fine and I can get as much wear and tear, literally tear, out of them as possible, and I wear black socks, nobody can see that there's anything wrong with them other than the fact that, like, oh, these shoes look a little sad.
I haven't looked at them this close. They're worse than I knew.
We'll start with the bottom. So there's some traction here that's gone. I've slipped on that, like, whatever, that's fine. Also, you have the little bit of, like, the tearing on the sides. Like, that's also, like, normal.
That depends on
the quality of the shoe, yes. Then you go to the inside, and like the heel will always like get that, like, it'll pop through. Counter is it'll do that. The shoelaces are also a mess, and they've been tightened so much that like everything is like super close together.
But can we talk?
So this is where Katie has a problem with these shoes.
What? They're boats. They're spongy boats. Like they take on water.
Which is why I don't wear them when it's raining.
It's Florida. It's always raining. What do you expect?
Right. So what are your problem with these shoes?
Okay, they look like look like you've been homeless for a year. Like, not even recently homeless, but like, you have spent a significant portion of 2018 homeless, and I know that's not the truth.
I mean,
No,
not
I know.
homeless, but like, I think these shoes represent how my 2018 actually
I mean,
went.
valid, but I'm saying, like...
These shoes have been through a lot. These shoes have been through court cases. These shoes have been through social media.
And they have been worn through.
You can only put 3 fingers in there.
No, I could get the 4th in there. It was just an odd angle. Like...
Okay, well, you can't put them in the other side like that. See, now they're puppets. See, we could be like, hello! Hello! Also, they're super flexible, and I don't like that. Hello!
This is bad. I should not be able to wear
Hi, shoe!
like a glove. This is... I can't believe I just stuck my hand down in your shoe, too. Like, I did it, and then, like, 2 seconds later, I was like, did I just...
Do you want to smell? Anyways, so here is my problem with these shoes. I have a couple of things. Number one, if I can wear these shoes and perform the magic, which is nobody realizes that they're actually ripped, that's the thing. Now, going back and saying something completely thing, yes, I'm gonna stand by that. The clothing and is a reflection of you as a person.
Yes.
So if I am letting myself wear these shoes, that is showing that I do not care about my personality.
Yes.
And then if people actually see the puppet,
that is these shoes.
these shoe puppets, then they will think, wow, what else does he not take care of? This is why he's bald. Because he wears shoes like this. What is his hygiene like? Does he take showers?
Until it wore out.
I mean, I did. I wore my hair like I wore these shoes.
My problem from a genuine standpoint is when you have a pair of shoes like this, the integrity of the sole being damaged on top of the fact that the top is damaged means that they're going to soak up water, which means they're going to retain water and are more likely to end up with mold and mildew, which is then going to have smell problems, which is then going to cause health problems, especially with that being in contact with your feet for extended periods of time. So this goes beyond how they appear into they start to affect your health and well-being, on top of the fact that you trip a lot when you wear these shoes, or otherwise, because you've done this to other pairs of shoes too, because your green and blue shoes you wore
I did.
until I about ripped them off your feet. And he
Those are
had
special
2
shoes.
more pairs of shoes ready to go. It's not that he didn't have shoes to use if he got rid of them. That's what bugged me, was you had the next pair of shoes already.
But then so now here's my problem, is that if I had worn those shoes earlier and then wore through those, I am currently in a financial situation where I cannot even afford shoes. I can barely afford food, I cannot afford shoes. So this is my thing with my mentality, this is where my poisonous mentality comes in, is I'm going to wear these until I literally cannot anymore because I cannot afford to purchase literally anything.
If by wearing those shoes you do something to injure yourself or
Then
make
that's
yourself
going to cost,
sick, it's gonna cost even more than the new pair of shoes would. You're gambling on what's going to cost less. And if you lose that gamble...
I'm going to say a haircut's going to cost the least. I would win.
So my line is, you stop using something when it is no longer functional. I would argue that those are no longer functional.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
No, I'm serious. Like, okay, my shirt, which my sister got me 2 days after I got it, it has a tiny hole in the collar where the seam has separated. I'm not going to stop wearing this shirt because that doesn't keep it from being functional. If the underarm ripped out, that would keep it from being functional.
Okay.
Like, that's the line. The second you see damage on something doesn't mean immediately get rid of it. But is it so damaged that it is posing a concern or no longer doing the thing it needs to do? Shoes are intended to protect your feet. Those do not protect your feet.
They don't? Oh, can they protect my hands now, though? Hey!
Nope.
So, what do I do with these now?
I'd like to burn them, but I'm pretty sure they would make a very toxic fume.
If I put them like this, it doesn't look like I'm bald anymore. So do I throw these out?
Yes!
I don't I don't save them anymore?
No.
What if somebody from Patreon wants to purchase them? Do you want to purchase my shoes? You want to purchase them?
If they don't want to pay for our web series.
Which web series? You mean Lit for Lit, where we read Twilight while drinking alcohol on Patreon now?
I'm going to take these shoes away from you now.
Don't take my shoes off of my hands. A sentence you never thought that I would have to say. Get your nasty shoe away from me.
What are we talking about?
You want the shoes? Go get them! Street smarts!
Hey Eric, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing?
I'm going to take a nap.
No, you're not. Come back. What are you doing?
I'm going to give Katie what she wants.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go put these back on the shoe rack.
Absolutely not. They are going in the trash.
What trash?
Trash.
Irene's not here.
Trash.
Don't show our trash. It's trashy. Don't zoom in on my face. That's also. Well, I gotta save this one because this one is functional.
No.
Because I can do a secret finger wave.
Put them in.
No, see, look, the seam is still right there. We're still fine. There's a seam right there. It has not ripped yet. Throw
them in the.
Does this smell to you? Does this smell to you?
I swear I will.
It's in the trash. There you go.
Thank you. Take the trash.
Okay, take the trash out. I'm gonna put these. Oh my god, you know what I do? Is I pretend I throw these out and then they just start randomly appearing and haunting Katie.
I will burn them. I will genuinely.
And then they'll keep coming
set
back.
Fire to them.
It'll be like a horror story. Juanita will move them, it's fine. Hello.
What is this?
It looks like a fancy wig.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Let's go again.
Fancy wig.
My sister had Tickle Me Elmo, and it was the one that had 3 functions. It was like tickle, hug, and bounce. It was tickle something and bounce. But bounce was that he had a plate in his butt, and I figured out that spanking it made him go do it again, and it was
That's
hilarious. Anyway.